If there's one thing we know about Canadians, they love being connected, and that's why we wanted to speak with Emily Jones-Jonas, CEO and co-founder of Connected Canadians.
Hi, Sam. How are you?
Well, Emily, I could just talk to you all day long. You have done some incredible things pre-pandemic, and you stepped up your game definitely when the pandemic hit. For those that may not be familiar with Connected Canadians, give us a little bit of a snapshot.
For sure. So Connected Canadians was founded by me and Tasneem Damon in early 2018. And we were looking to find a way to provide free technology training and support to older adults across Canada. And initially, of course, before COVID, we were very much in an in-person model, and we provided a lot of support to seniors throughout Ottawa mainly. We had partners all around Ottawa, including Ottawa Community Housing and Briere Hospital and the Pearly Rideau. It was really a great testing period because we learned a lot through working with seniors in person. And then, of course, when the pandemic struck, we all of a sudden had to move to a virtual model, which was really amazing in many ways because we suddenly were able to attract volunteers from coast to coast, along with helping seniors nationally as well.
It really is incredible, Emily, because I often thought about you, especially when the pandemic first hit, because I think in many ways this organization was really set up for the pandemic we never knew would happen.
Totally. It did kind of feel a bit like that when everything happened because we just, even before COVID, I think the interest in, digital skills and all of that, it was there, but it wasn't really thought about so much in a senior context. But of course, when COVID struck and all of the horrible things started happening in long-term care homes and all of those kinds of things, the public eye suddenly became a lot more focused on seniors and elderly issues. So it really has been great for that perspective. It's really highlighted the need and given us more wings to do our work.
For sure. And of course, today's Canada Day, and I can't stop thinking about, how you've connected so many Canadians during a time where they were feeling very isolated. Are you reflecting today at all about the impact you've had, Emily?
I would say so. I mean, I think on our end, I always delight in the fact that, it's not just that we're connecting seniors to their families, but we're also connecting mentors to seniors that they otherwise would have had no opportunity to meet before. And the different types of demographics that we've either been able to work with as volunteers or as paid mentors, both kinds have really benefited from that interaction. And it's opened up everybody's minds in different ways, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is really one of those stories that is the silver lining to this pandemic, which has been so tragic. The loss of life, of course, the loss of jobs. I mean, we could go on. But you really turned this around for many people in the hospitality industry. Walk us through the incredible connection you made.
Sure. So last year, right when the lockdowns happened, I was in the process of applying for a community economic development grant from the City of Ottawa, and originally it was going to have an entirely different focus. But when the lockdown happened, I thought, here are all of these food service workers that are now unable to work, and I myself, having also worked as a DJ for over 16 years, I realized how these people were so well suited to working with the public and with people. And we now had a whole bunch of really personable extroverts who are now basically locked in and not allowed to socialize. And I thought, how can we take these folks and pair them with the isolated seniors that really, really crave this human interaction and make it a win-win for everyone involved. And so we managed to, thanks to the City of Ottawa, we ran this program and gave the food service workers and hospitality workers technical training in order to be able to work remotely as technical mentors for the seniors. And that was just great. We just heard all kinds of wonderful stories throughout. And if you're interested, you can check it out on our website, connectedcanadians.ca/testimonials. There's a lot of them up there. Yeah, we coming out of it, the food service workers themselves, a lot of them said that it gave them so many valuable employable skills that they can now take to other avenues and get different kinds of jobs in if they so wish.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important, too, to let people know that if they have, let's say, a loved one, maybe a senior living, I don't know, in Halifax, for instance, and they haven't been able to sort of connect with them because the senior might be challenged to use their device, if you will, that you will be able to help them.
Definitely. We have, we've got I shouldn't call it a 1-800 number. It's actually a 1-877 number. We've got a toll-free phone number as well as a local Ottawa number with which folks can reach us on. They can call in, they can get help. We have coordinators who are waiting to get their call and assist them for free. We also have many generous sponsors and partners who help us also with device programs at different times of the year. So depending on what time of the year it is as well, we can also sometimes offer devices to folks as well if they are in need and want to get connected.
And I think about my mom and how there was a point in time where we couldn't see her, and that FaceTime and that Zoom time was so important.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's so huge, and what I really loved last year was the opportunity when on some of the device programs that we did when we worked with seniors who were in their 90s and they'd never had a device before or any reason to really connect. And of course, COVID made that happen, and suddenly they thought, I'm going to try something entirely new. And some of the seniors that we helped who came out of this just, their minds were blown with the possibilities. They were not only able to connect to their neighbors and friends in the same city, but they were connecting to relatives and loved ones around the world, in their mid-90s, which to me is it just warms my heart.
For sure. And you've done such incredible work, not only with seniors, but you've created a number of partnerships. You've named a couple of them. But one that really stands out for me is the work you're doing with the Indigenous community.
Yeah, so that's one has been an interesting one as well. We had some partners in British Columbia reach out to us and through Digital Health Circle in BC, and they wanted to work with us to create a Indigenous program that allowed Indigenous mentors to work with Indigenous elders as a knowledge sharing program, and this of course fit in very well with our model because the way that we work with communities in our volunteer training program, we always select community members who are representative of the population that is going to be served, because we understand as an organization we don't know everybody's needs, and it's so important to have representative community members who do fully grasp what the senior community's lived experiences are going to be like. And so I think the Indigenous program was really special for us. We had several instances of it running 2 times, once in December and again this past May, where we had mentors all across Canada who, were now learning some of the tools that we use on a regular basis with which to reach out to elders within their own communities.
It really is remarkable. What do you hear from loved ones that maybe never thought that their parents would use a phone, a smartphone, or a computer in this way?
The loved ones are often completely surprised. I would say some of the more interesting things that we found out was generally, this was actually quite a mind-blowing thing for us. It was very important for us that the senior themselves had to be the person who sort of initiated the request, because we found that in this situation where it was an adult child who was saying, my mom really needs to learn X, that often did not go as well as one would plan, because it did not come from the person themselves. And so when a senior independently kind of chooses to learn something and figures it out, and then their loved ones find out, they can be so surprised and delighted. And some of those calls that we've gotten have just been so great. It's been really awesome.
Just as you're talking, I'm such a visual person, so I actually pictured this big, beautiful map of Canada and all of these, dots being connected all over the country because of you. Do you realize how special this is, Emily?
I'm grateful for it every day. I feel like, Connected Canadians is a much bigger thing than just me and my co-founder Taz. It's every person who becomes involved with us is a part of it and makes it special, whether that's a mentor or a client or some other form of volunteer that we have. And everybody brings a little bit of their personality and their experiences and they share it. And it's so much about the human connection. It's, the digital part is really just a means to an end. It's meant to connect people. We're not focusing on the digital tools. It is a means, and being able to really facilitate that real human-to-human connection is so huge to us.
Emily, I remember you telling me a story one time about a senior who was able to listen to some jazz music that he was didn't really think he'd ever be able to listen to again because of those advancements in technology. And he was able to hear that music because of the connection he made through Connected Canadians. I love that story.
Definitely. And not only him, but even through COVID, we had many more seniors who they were now able to connect to music from their home countries, because Canada truly is a country full of immigrants. And when we can have people in their late 90s and even 100s who are now able to listen to sort of echoes of their youth, it's such a magical thing. It really is heartwarming. And the more I experience it and listen to the stories of these folks, the more I just wish to be able to continue to provide this type of support and expand it.
Well, you are definitely magical, that's for sure. Emily, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sam. My pleasure.
And it's always my pleasure to speak with Emily Jones-Jonas, CEO and co-founder of Connected Canadians. Stay with us. We've got lots coming for you.